Oh, shit. Bing! Oh, that hurt. Oh. So, this is a request review then, or a hostage review, whichever way you want to see it. So, what am I reviewing exactly?
Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Goody. We open with exposition! We see that Paul Blart and his girlfriend from the last film get married and divorce within a week.
Why do they even get divorced?
They don't really have a good reason, but hey, at least he still has his mother.
Real talk though, the dude who hit her, nice rims. After all this crap, he gets news that he'll be invited to a Las Vegas for a mall cop convention, and his daughter gets accepted to UCLA. But she doesn't tell him this because it'll break his heart if she moves away from him.
And here's where we get the first big flaw of the movie besides the major tonal shift. They focus most of this movie on the daughter. Yeah, like I wanted to see that. So we get a travel montage and they arrive in Las Vegas, where David Henry offers to help them.
Hey, he's the guy from Drake and Josh.
Don't you mean Wizards of Waverly Place?
They're both Disney, it doesn't matter.
Drake and Josh was Nickelodeon.
Oh. Paul is then approached by another officer who brings up the events from the last film.
A movie I'd rather be watching right about now.
So they go to check into the room, which they find isn't ready yet. So Maya heads to the cafe while Blart continues to talk to the front desk before he catches up with her. When he finds her, she's flirting with David Henry.
So wait, is he a bellhop or a waiter? I'm confused.
Also, why is he flirting on the job?
Low self-esteem issues. We get some banter between the Blarts about how he should let her grow up, and then the manager walks in to become the new love interest. We then see that Damien Dark is here to execute his evil scheme.
Excuse me, guys. Will we have a complaint about the noise?
Wait, what noise?
He's in on it. Duh.
Oh, right. So he plans on robbing the casino, and we cut to Blart gambling, and he loses. You know, that way you feel bad for this character, even though you're probably feeling bad enough just watching this movie.
He catches his daughter flirting with Henry again, and she confronts him about it. She tells him to give her space, while another mall cop confronts him.
But uh-oh, we have a misunderstanding! Paul thought that he would be giving the big speech at the convention tonight, but someone else got it. So let's just watch him roam around on a Segway, since that's what he did in the first movie, right?
Yeah. So he tells Maya that he's not giving the keynote, and she says a joke that even I have to admit is terrible.
Also, he was just hit by a car. Shouldn't he be rushed to, like, the hospital or something?
Yes.
Paul heads to a meet and greet where we meet the Mall Cop Justice League of this movie before we get a montage of the weaponry he will be using when he has to stop Damien Dark later in the film.
Spoilers, dude.
Please, you could have seen that a mile away.
We get some fun facts from Blart about security uniforms, and the head of the casino's security shows off. Seriously though, how much ammo does that thing have?
Blart heads back into the hotel room and he barges into the bathroom to see where his daughter is. But she's nowhere to be found.
Also, why did he just barge in? He should have knocked first. So he calls security, And we then see his daughter flirting with Henry for the 4th time today.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. Security arrives and they bully Blart since he wants to lock down the perimeter because she went missing.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. He finds the UCLA sheet and confronts her about her behavior and the sheet. Also, why does she even have the acceptance letter on her right now?
He tells her that she can't go and she says screw that and storms off. We run into more of the Justice League of Mall Cops. Oh where did the plot go? Oh, where the hell did it go? Before we cut back to Damien Dark and the member of the security team. The guy who is supposed to be giving the speech tonight is unable to give it, so Blart has to give the speech instead. Paul gets a visit from the supposed-to-be love interest, and just watch.
Look, this is crazy. I'm actually dating someone.
Oh, please, ma'am. I practically invented the fake boyfriend thing.
What? Listen, you have no bearing on my life whatsoever.
We then see that the enemy have put their plans into motion before we cut back to Blart preparing for his speech.
You know, I'm more interested in this heist than I am Blart and his shenanigans, but that won't stop this movie from throwing all this filler at us.
Also, they never mention that he has hyperglycemia, and he doesn't even show signs of it.
Oh, don't worry, he had a bowl of M&Ms earlier. I think he's fine. And now we jump to the only funny joke in this whole movie. Paul Blart gets attacked by a bird while this guy plays soothing music in the background.
We then cut back to Maya and Henry before we jump back to Paul giving his speech.
Is it warm in here, or am I ordering my next uniform from Rochester big and humid?
You suck! The first one was better!
We see that Maya walks into Damien Dark.
And let's play a game that I never thought would reoccur on the show. How many questions did this scene just raise?
1. How'd you get from the party to that room?
2. Why would you execute someone with the door open?
3. Who's the man in the black?
4. Why wouldn't you just shoot her when she went, oh, sorry?
5. How dumb's that one guy who couldn't chase the girl up the stairs?
6. Where was the party noise at?
And 7. Why was there nobody on lookout when you're murdering somebody in public? She runs into the bathroom. She starts calling her father. But ironically, he doesn't pick up when he starts talking about his spidey senses for danger.
Help someone today.
Okay. He would have wanted that. He finally picks up his phone, and she describes the situation and starts heading to save her. Damien Dark starts talking to Blart, and his hyperglycemia finally kicks in.
Because if it was funny in the first movie, it's gotta be funny now, right?
How are you alive?
Oh, I have this ability where I can regenerate from any fatal injury. It's actually kind of cool. Oh! So David Henry goes looking for Maya, and he runs into Damien Dark and his guys. Oh, this must be the plot hole then.
Also, why do they pull out a gun in front of Henry and take him hostage? There's no need for that.
The plot hole is full of plot holes.
They should probably patch that.
Yeah.
So they bring Maya and Henry back to the room where the doors are still open, and Paul repeats another joke from the first movie.
And nobody notices this? Even the plot hole can't defend this. Paul tries finding them in the presidential suite, and they lock David Henry and Maya inside of a room together. And David Henry decides to give her a present. Oh, never mind. It's just a snow globe.
Paul does some detective work and ends up catching the culprit.
Sweet mercy!
Close enough.
We then cut to the front desk where Paul and his love interest figure out who is in the presidential suite. He then rushes the Segway and MacGyvers it open using a paperclip. Next, he gains the help of Myrtle, who tries to make us laugh with a brat that looks like a banana. Lastly, while down there, they find the stolen items, and the one security officer from before attempts to stop them.
I want to ask a question.
I wish.
One, how do they get down there? And two, can we just assume Myrtle's dead?
Myrtle's probably dead. So thug number one shoots Paul's Segway and...
Nothing seems to make sense anymore.
He escapes and announces his escape to the world when another mall cop, who Paul Blart weeds out with his Batman-like detective skills, pulls a gun on him and... I wish. Actual security sees this, and they let him escape. He catches up with Blart, and as he shoots at him, Blart's cat-like reflexes stop the bullets from hitting him.
So we then get this scene.
Who is this guy? What's going on?
And he plugs his vibrating fork into an electrical cable and shoots it into the officer, killing him. Ugh, I am so done with this movie. Let's just speed through it.
Agreed. So Blart learns that they're robbing the casino for art. Thug 1 continues to chase him, and he gets locked into a room where Blart kills him with the bird. He then enters an elevator with Midget Kiss, and then we cut to the two lovebirds. And they get the smart idea to break the snow globe and use the cable to open the door. Or, you know, she could have broken the glass door instead of smashing a snow globe. Probably would have been easier anyway.
So they decide to spy on the bad guy, and they learn just how to defeat him. Oatmeal cookies. Wouldn't have that been handy an arrow? So they decide to enter the room, and once again, we see that she had a knife on her the whole time. Don't you think the guards would have searched them first?
We then see Paul Blart stealing all those handy weapons from before. We then get an action sequence where Paul finally learns how to aim.
Trust me, these scenes are a lot more tolerable when you realize that he's actually killing these people and is going to jail for it later on. Oh. And then he calls Dark and arranges a swap of the painting for his kid. Maya talks to Henry about if they survive, she won't go to UCLA, and after just one day, Henry is interested in her life for some reason. We then meet up with Blart, and then...
So Blart is off to the helipad as we realize that he's in the wrong location. They shoot a zip line over, and Blart travels across it, gets caught in the middle, as expected, and Maya and Henry escape. Blart takes out one of his goons with a CGI glue gun, and Maya takes him down with oatmeal lotion as Paul Blart ends it by headbutting him.
We get our happy ending with Blart getting the love interest, but then deciding that she's not worth it. Blart is rewarded for doing the same thing again. Maya is going off to UCLA. Blart tries to get with someone who is less of a cop than a mall cop, a cop on a horse, and the movie finally ends. So, how did you like this movie? I think they already know what I think about it.
I thought the movie was a one-time watch for several reasons. First, the comedy was either poorly written or brought back from the original. The physics from the stunts baffled me, and the plot was more scrambled than eggs in a well-balanced breakfast. I enjoyed the few action moments that actually mattered, and wished the continuity of the plot and physical aspects of the movie were better told.
I agree, much of this comedy is recycled from the first one or just falls completely flat. There's so much line-orama that just annoyed me or bored me to death. And so much of this movie could have been cut out, it's not even funny. Many of the characters are forgettable and cliched. The action is sloppy and the CGI is horrendous. Killing both the mother and having his girlfriend from the first one leave is pretty much pointless. The only reason why they aren't in this is that way you can feel bad for him, which you don't because of how ludicrous these situations are. The plot holes are so large they could fill a whole hallway, and as someone who liked the first one just fine, I find this to be a lazy sequel. If you ask me, this is a 1 out of 5, and you probably should avoid this at all costs. So, am I free to go now?
Yeah.
You only kidnapped me for 2 feet?
You didn't notice we were only 2 feet away?
Oh, David Henry! You're so attractive with your flowing hair and your flowing vest as a bellhop. Oh, man!
We've always lived with my grandma. Until a milk truck took her to a better place.
You can't write this shit!